This is the ASUS ProArt PX13 GoPro Edition laptop, and I've spent the last week seeing if it can replace my MacBook Pro, and honestly, it's closer than any other laptop that I've tried, but not in the ways that you might think. We often try and compare these machines strictly in terms of performance, and while these do trade blows in benchmarks and in-app performance, what makes this GoPro Edition great is the intangibles and features that you won't find anywhere else. There are thoughtful tools and features for creatives, amazing build components and accessories, and a number of ways that you can use this laptop that are genuinely compelling, but it's not perfect either. Whether those trade-offs matter depends on what you need from a laptop, and that's what we're getting into today. Lately, I've been thinking a lot more about how I use my tech, not just in terms of how intentional I'm being with it, but also what brands I'm choosing to support, and that I'm not locking myself into the Apple ecosystem where there may be other good options out there. I want to expand my horizons and test out new products with new features, and this ASUS PX13 ProArt GoPro Edition laptop is the first real step towards that. Now, I don't even own a GoPro, but this really isn't a GoPro laptop. It's more a ProArt laptop with some GoPro benefits if you shoot with one, and to me, it's just a really well-balanced creative laptop with some unique features, which is why I asked ASUS if they'd be willing to send one out to review. Full disclosure, while ASUS did send this unit to me, absolutely none of this is sponsored. They don't get to see this beforehand or have any input into this video, but one of the reasons why I requested this model specifically is because of everything you get here. Unlike a MacBook, where you just get the laptop and the charger in the box, unboxing this is an experience in itself. Outside of the laptop and charger that are wrapped in this cool little storage container lined with customizable foam, similar to a Pelican case, you get an actual hardshell carrying case for the laptop, along with the ASUS Pen 3-in charger, which, for me, already adds a lot of value, but matches quite well with the overall design language and the all-in-one nature of this machine. Design-wise, this is definitely on the smaller side with a 13.3-inch screen that weighs in at just over 3 pounds with about the same thickness as the MacBook Pro, and the build quality here is outstanding. This has a black, full aluminum body with a straight-lined pattern on the lid, CNC engraved markings and highlights, and I appreciate the level of detail and thoughtfulness here. Even on the bottom rubber pads, there are these little blue specks that match the accents on the hardshell case, and I found it does pretty well at protecting against smudges and fingerprints for a black laptop. The keyboard is decent, the keys aren't as rigid as a MacBook, and it does have a bit of flex, but it's got a good amount of travel, the trackpad has a nice tactile click with no looseness or play, and the same goes for the hinges that have a nice amount of tension while moving smoothly. The one thing that I'm not really huge on design-wise are the bottom firing speakers. The sound is adequate with Dolby Atmos support and good overall volume, but whenever you set this on your lap, things usually sound muffled, and even at a desk or in kickstand mode, MacBook speakers clearly win on audio quality. Those hinges rotate all the way back to put this in tablet or kickstand mode, which adds some versatility that I'll get into in a minute, but the screen itself is also extremely durable with a Corning Gorilla Glass NBT coating that increases scratch resistance and improves the overall clarity of the image. That display is very sharp with amazing contrast and color. This has a 2880 by 1800 resolution OLED panel, so you get those super deep blacks. Although it does only go up to 500 nits peak brightness in HDR and just under 400 in SDR. For comparison, the MacBook Pro hits 1600 nits in HDR, so it isn't the brightest display out there. I would have liked to seen ASUS put their Lumina Pro OLED display in here over the regular Lumina OLED, just due to that brightness level. This is marketed as a laptop for use on the go, and at under 400 nits brightness, it might be a tad harder to see outdoors and in sunlight, but otherwise this is fantastic. In terms of color accuracy, it is slightly better than the MacBook Pro, covering 100% of the P3 gamut, with 96% Adobe RGB coverage, which makes this ideal for anything color critical, be it design, photo, or video work. I do find the touch panel to be nice and responsive, and the ASUS Pen 3 feels great in the hand and works quite well here. It's generally nice to use for taking notes or for things like masking photos, but if we're talking touch controls, my favorite one is this DialPad nested within the trackpad. To activate that, you'll just swipe in diagonally from the upper right, where you can see this LED activate, and this can be used for a host of different things. I can set this to be multifunctional or have a single function depending on what app I'm in, or on a system level I can change things like volume, brightness, and so on, but for me, this has the most potential when scrubbing my timeline while editing videos. The movement, for the most part, is fairly smooth in Resolve, although it does take some getting used to. I've also been using this in other apps like Lightroom for zooming and things of that nature, and it's just a great little feature to have built in. One thing that I will say about working in these apps is that by default, Windows scales everything to 250%, which makes text and UI elements bigger and gives you less screen real estate. In apps like Resolve with a lot of panels, it feels cramped, so I scaled that back to 200%, which makes this much more usable. Having said that, if you want to hook this up to an external monitor and use it as a desktop, the 360-degree nature of this does make it much more versatile than a MacBook. Not only can I plug it in and use it open or in clamshell mode like a MacBook, but I can have it sit beside my monitor like a secondary display, or I can just use the keyboard and trackpad if I want to. Because it is so color accurate, I really like pairing this up with my LG 6K monitor and using it for playback while editing, and it's been able to power both displays flawlessly without any hiccups, which has a lot to do with what's inside this PX13. Powering everything is the AMD Ryzen AI Max Plus 395 chipset that has 16 CPU cores, an integrated Radeon 8060S GPU with 40 cores, a 1TB SSD, and a whopping 128 gigs of unified memory, and this thing has run pretty much everything smooth as butter. Comparing it to my MacBook Pro in benchmarks, it does fall behind in single-core performance by about 25 to 35%, but is generally a bit more performant in multi-core with up to 15% better scores, but to be honest, it's not really perceivable in real-world use. Editing 10-bit H.265 5.9K footage in Resolve is responsive and solid, even while powering the LG 6K monitor. Render times are about 25% faster on the M4 Pro, but I can still render out a 12-minute long 4K video in under 10 minutes. And likewise, coding is smooth with quick compile times, and even when you get into more resource-heavy use cases like 3D work, this is quite capable. It does feel very similar to my M4 Pro, where any kind of CAD work is totally fine, along with simple scenes in Blender, where, again, the M4 Pro renders about 25% faster, but both are going to struggle with super complex scenes, and the ProArt laptop does have a little bit of coil whine, but otherwise it stays relatively quiet while the fans are spinning under heavy load. Even with this being a smaller laptop, you can see it doesn't get overly hot, and the dual fans in here do a great job of dispersing heat, but I would say as far as general CPU and GPU performance goes, the M4 Pro definitely has a slight edge, but the thing that really sets this PX13 apart is that 128 gigs of RAM. Having this much memory opens up so many different things. If you're a developer, you can run emulators or VMs with just as much RAM as an actual device, or you can run more advanced LLMs, which could be potentially useful if you want to run AI on device, rather than through the cloud or through services. This is unified memory just like the MacBook has, so I can allocate up to 96 gigs of it to the GPU, which is pretty wild. And at least right now, the price on this is $36.99 Canadian, where a MacBook with this much memory is going to cost almost double that. Now, like a MacBook, this is mostly a productivity machine, although you can use it for gaming. In the Cyberpunk 2077 benchmark, I can get about 50 FPS at 1080p with the medium ray tracing preset, which is fine, although the 60Hz display really isn't ideal for in-game movement, but if you are more of a casual gamer, you can run newer titles like Battlefield 6 without any issues here. The 1TB SSD has decent speed, so loading times are fairly quick, although it's not the fastest by any means, but The good news is, unlike the MacBook where the SSD is not replaceable, the PX13 has a 2230 NVMe drive that you can swap out if you ever need more storage or if something happens to it. If you prefer to connect external storage, port selection is quite good here as well. This is, again, another one of those areas where on paper, the MacBook Pro is much better with 3 Thunderbolt 5 ports, but like I mentioned in my last video, the difference between that and Thunderbolt 4 or USB 4 is only perceivable in really niche use cases. And this PX13 has 2 USB 4 ports, 1 USB 3.2 Type A port, an HDMI 2.1 port, UHS 2 micro SD card reader, and a headphone jack, which is fantastic for a device this size. I've been running external drives on here without any issue, which is what I often do while video editing, as these files can take up an enormous amount of storage, but the nice thing is those USB 4 ports can deliver up to 100 watts of power to the laptop, so I can actually have my monitor charge it while also carrying the display signal, which is nice. Speaking of power, the one area where this does not match up to any MacBook predictably is battery life. This has a 73 watt-hour battery, which is quite big for a machine this small, but unlike the MacBook, where I can get a full day of use in a regular workday with mixed usage, I find myself charging the ProArt laptop after about 4 or 5 hours of mixed use, which can extend out to about 8 hours if I switch to whisper mode with lighter use. I think for a machine that's geared towards on-the-go performance, that could definitely be a bit better, but the good thing is this does come with a 200 watt charger and can give you a 0 to 50% charge in a half hour or so, and go all the way up to 100 in just over an hour, which does alleviate that a bit. In contrast to that, the ProArt does have an advantage over any MacBook, as you get Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4, where the MacBook only has Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3. I have noticed my overall Wi-Fi performance is a tad better on this ASUS machine, where I can get close to my full gigabit network speeds, where my MacBook is usually about 100 megabits lower. It's, again, nothing that you would generally notice, and any external Bluetooth accessories have worked great on both, be it keyboards, mice, headphones, or controllers. Outside that, the one thing that I purposely haven't talked about much here at all is the GoPro perks and AI advertised features that ASUS gives you with the PX13 GoPro edition. Because I don't own a GoPro, things like the 12 months free of GoPro Premium Plus you get are kind of irrelevant, but could be useful if you do own one. You also can get 3 months free with the entire Adobe Creative Cloud suite and 6 months free of CapCut. In terms of AI stuff, you get ASUS's StoryCube app that can use AI to categorize and sort through GoPro footage. Muse Tree, where you can type ideas or draw rough sketches to generate images locally and organize and evolve those ideas visually. And of course, all the things that are built into Windows, but a big part of me trying this machine out is to be less tied to those things. I would say the majority of folks don't really use AI features, and right from the onset of this video, I said that I wanted to be less locked into an ecosystem, so less subscriptions with a little more freedom, which has me thinking more about installing Linux. With Linux, I'd have full control over my system, and I could customize everything how I want it. Plus, most of the creative tools that I would need, like DaVinci Resolve, Blender, and VS Code should work in Linux, although there are some that I would need to replace or get working in Linux. And I think that's the next step for me. I've wanted to do that for the past year, and the tricky part is not only making adjustments with my workflow, but I will likely lose that DialPad functionality, and I've got to make sure the hardware will work okay, but I'd really like the idea of moving away from these big tech platforms. With a Mac, you really don't have that option at all, at least on Apple Silicon, and while you do definitely make sacrifices moving to a machine like this PX13, you also get a bunch of benefits that you don't have with Apple, and it's all about the trade-offs that you're willing to make and what you're hoping to get out of a laptop. If you're someone who has a GoPro, or maybe you're heavily invested in Windows and you want an absurd amount of RAM without spending $6,000 USD on a MacBook, this is a much more affordable way to get there. Likewise, if you're a creator and you need a color-accurate display and you want a great editing experience with the DialPad, this is a fantastic option. The build quality is outstanding, it can run pretty much anything that you throw at it, and you've got the flexibility of installing Linux or modifying the hardware that you just don't get on a Mac. That being said, I think a Mac is a much safer choice if you want something that just works with great battery life, and even for myself, I'll likely be using Macs for most things, but I am going to keep pushing this PX13 just to see if I can turn this into a solid Linux machine and see if it's maybe possible for me to slowly move away from a Mac if I ever want to. If you guys would be interested in seeing a video about that process, please let me know in the comments down below, but that's all I've got for you today. If you would like to see more tech-related content, or put this into tent mode in a group setting so that everyone can watch AI be wrong together, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next upload.